What is going on, Jerome's? So, we said that over the weekend, that was our last 53-man rooster projection, but can't help ourselves. So, Vikings made 15 cuts officially on Monday. They still have a handful to go to get down to 53 on Tuesday by the deadline in the afternoon. So, here's the last final 53-man roster projection and practice squad projection. Now, just because a player was cut in the first wave of cuts doesn't necessarily preclude them from coming back onto the practice squad, which we'll get into. It's sort of like when 75 cuts existed. Just because a player was let go early doesn't mean that they won't be back in the sphere, etc. But going through. So Vikings, 25 offense, 25 defense, 3 special teamers, as well as 8 and 8 on the practice. 8, 7, and 1 on the practice squad. So 53 quarterbacks. Cousins, Mullins, Jaron Hall. I think Hall has certainly done enough to require that 53-man rooster spot. Also, he does get the game day exemption as the third quarterback, so it doesn't count towards active game day 48. So it would be great to have him in uniform. Hopefully, he doesn't touch the field unless it's in a Vikings up 50-0 situation. Running back wise, so we sort of changed our mind on this. So King Kene, I think they're going to 53 him and put him on short-term IR. I still think that's what my gut tells me. Madison and Ty Chandler. Now, McBride and Dykes are currently on the practice squad, but one of them could be added to the 53 once they do make that Kene move, once he's officially counted on the 53-man rooster. CJ Ham. I love CJ Ham, man. He's just absolute stud. Wide receivers keeping 6. So kind of a tough call, but JJ Addison. Hey, they made it. KJ, Jalen Rager, Jalen Naylor, who Kevin O'Connell has a lot of love and affinity for, the second-year receiver from Michigan State, as well as Brandon Powell, who I think Brandon Powell has quietly put together a great training camp, and also with King Kene out, could be the one returning kicks and punts because, I don't know. I don't trust Jalen Rager returning punts. That's all. 2 receivers on the practice squad. Trishan Jackson, who made a very good push for a roster spot. Blake Prohl. I sort of go back and forth where, Prohl has made some plays in the third preseason game. He had some big-time drops. We still don't really know what kind of player he is, but the Vikings are sufficiently intrigued. There, Thomas, 2 muff punts. It's going to do you in, bro. I had high hopes, but didn't quite work out. Lucky Jackson, the XFL star. Jacob Copeland, the former Gator, also cut. Malik Knowles is currently on the injured reserve. Then tight ends, keeping 3, practice squatting 2. So Hawkinson, Oliver, and Munt, Nick Muse and Ben Sims, both of them have had really good preseasons, make the practice squad there. Tight end, Vikings might have the deepest tight end room in the league. Colin Thompson has already been cut. Also, these do factor in already announced cuts. Roster for the offensive line. So Darisaw, Ezra, Bradbury, Ed Ingram, Brian O'Neill. Now, wild card, biatches. So player TBD. Now, this could be Dalton Reisner, this could be Jason Peters, this could be a player that's been released, and then the Vikings put in a waiver claim. I don't know. But I have a feeling that, specifically the Vikings' backup left tackle isn't currently on the rooster. Then you got Schlutman, Blake Brandel, and Oli Udoh as your primary backups. Alan Ali, the UDFA from TCU, was running with the 2. Same thing with Jack Snyder, the Snyder cut. Both make the practice squad. And now Chris Reed's labeled under cut, but, there should be NFI. There you go. I think they'll, Chris Reed's been on the non-football injury list all training camp. It would make sense for them to leave him on there for the regular season. He has to miss 4 games, but it's fine. Defensively, so 5 on the D-line. Harrison Phillips, Tonga, Dean Lowry, Jonathan Bullard, and Jaquelin Roy, the rookie, are going to make some noise. 2 on the practice squad, Asazio Tamamo, as well as Sheldon Day. Sheldon really stepped up as a 7-year vet and did some damn nice things during preseason. Cut TJ Smith, even though I think TJ Smith played great. Ross Blacklock had a sack against Arizona, but no go. And then James Lynch is unfortunately on injured reserve with that ACL. And then edge rushers, keeping 5 on the 53. So Hunter, Davenport, Wanham, Jones, and Villain. Now, going to gamble a little bit, trying to get Carter the second through waivers onto the practice squad. Once he's on there, you can be one of the 4 that is protected, but you do have to subject him to waivers first. Now, Carter didn't really put together too many splash plays in preseason, but I think that he is a very interesting very interesting project and prospect going forward. Benton Whitley, I like Benton Whitley a lot, man. Huge motor, just gets after it, gets consistent pressure, sometimes doesn't finish, but sufficiently intriguing. And Junior Aho, international pathway player, doesn't count on the practice squad, but he stays in the sphere. Linebackers at the off ball. So Pace Jr., Asamoah, Hicks, Dye. I think those four are set in stone. I'm bringing back Tanner Vallejo onto the practice squad, even though, yes, he was among the first 15 cut. But I think that him and his prowess as a special teamer makes a lot of sense. Then remainder cut Troy Reeder and Abraham Beauplan. Now, you could say that Wilson Huber, maybe he pushes for a practice squad spot as well, but remains to be seen. Keeping 5 corners and 1 special teamer. So Blackman, Evans, Murphy, Jawan, and Booth Jr. I think that Jalen Williams and Booth Jr. could be pushing for 1 spot. I think that Booth maybe stays on the 53 just because of draft pedigree. And, Jalen, as the UDFA coming out of Indiana, played great slot corner with the second unit, but he's on the practice squad. Najee Thompson, let's go, playing some special teams, being what Dan Chisena should have been. 5 safeties on the 53, since Flores loves multiple safeties. Harrison, Bynum, Metellus, Lewisine. Carry on my Jayward son makes the 53. Theo Jackson on the practice squad. And also, here's where it gets interesting. So, Joseph, Wright, and DePaula, obviously the battery Elkline trio of special teamers. But a kicker on the practice squad. Now, Greg Joseph is nails whenever there's a clear and present danger on the roster, whether it's Gabe Burkich last season, whether it was Podlesny this year. But like during the regular season, when the Vikings didn't even have kicking tryouts, like when he was shanking those 9 kicks during the season, there wasn't even a threat. There wasn't even a specter of him losing his job. I think that Joseph is one of the players that, if he feels like there's a chance he could lose his job realistically, he focuses and he's dialed in. Whereas otherwise, it's sort of a scatter shot. So bringing a kicker onto the practice squad. I mean, you have 16 practice squad spots, man. Well, why not use one as a backup kicker? So there you go. But that's it. That's it. Let's take a look at the Vikings 53-man rooster projection and practice squad projection for the final time. Last time. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.